guys, I'm Haley and today is day 12 of the Raw for Ramadan challenge. Today's video is going to be a short question and answer video. I'm going to be answering 5 questions that I've been asked down in the comments, mostly by Mark. So I'm just going to go right into it. The first question is, what happens on the last iftar, the last evening meal of the fast? Is there anything special that you do? How does the fast kind of end? In Afghan culture, there's not really anything special at all. It's just like a normal fast day. There's a big truck outside. So you just end the fast like you normally would on iftar, and you break the fast with dates and everything like that, and you just eat normally. And then for the next day to 3 days, there is an Eid. And Eids basically refer to the religious celebrations that go on throughout the year. Islam has a few different Eids that happen at specific times during the year, and they celebrate different things. So during these 1 to 3 days, a lot of Muslims greet each other by saying Eid Mubarak. It's kind of like the Ramadan Mubarak saying that I mentioned at the beginning of this. It's just kind of a way to say Happy Eid. One thing that is mandatory at the end of Ramadan, after the last iftar and during Eid, is something called zakat, which is basically just giving to charity. Whether you're giving money or food or time, it's usually money or food. A lot of people during Ramadan, they give iftar meals to poor people. And basically during the Eid, it's like a big celebration. You go visit family and friends, you have lots of food, and you just generally celebrate togetherness and the month of fasting that you've just done. So that is what happens at the end of Ramadan. So question number 2, can you smoke during Ramadan? And I will extend that to smoking and drinking and any other kind of taboo thing that most people would try to cut out of their lives because it's not healthy or good for you or you don't like doing it. Basically things like smoking are haram because they are unhealthy for you, they're bad for you. Anything that is kind of harmful for your body and not healthy is called haram, along with a lot of other things that are religiously haram, like eating pork and drinking. Both of those are haram for religious reasons. I'm not sure if smoking is actually in the Quran as something that should not be done. But during Ramadan, I know that a lot of people do give up smoking because basically it's going into your body and into your lungs, and that is kind of what you're trying to avoid during Ramadan, is things entering and going into your body. That's why there's such a strict thing about not drinking water also, because it's going into your body. Anything that's going in, you can't chew gum, things like that. So just for the simple fact of the principle of Ramadan where it's not entering your body, and then also the fact that it's harmful and therefore haram for you to be doing even when you're not fasting. Things like drinking is, alcohol is prohibited in Islam, so that's already kind of a no-no. And a lot of people try to give up things like cursing during Ramadan because they don't feel like it's a very good thing in their life. Anything that you're trying to give up, kind of like the Catholic month of Lent, where you're giving up like chocolate, or you're giving up cursing, or you're giving up things like that you just don't want in your life anymore and you feel like they're a detriment to you. So that's kind of where that falls. Alright, third question. What should you have for suhoor, which is the morning meal, and for iftar, which is the evening meal? And the recommendation here is dates, dates, dates. Over and over again in the Quran and in hadiths, it is mentioned that dates are the best thing to have during both of these times, dates and water. Especially for suhoor, water is mentioned. Me and my husband make sure that water is like our top priority in the morning. We have tons and tons of water, like maybe like 2 liters to 3 liters each in the morning to be able to get through the day without having any problems. Specifically for iftar, as far as a bigger meal goes, we don't really have anything specific, and it's kind of up to each country. There are a lot of Muslim countries in the world and they all have kind of different flavors of food. In Afghanistan, it would be just normal, lighter Afghan foods. Of course, rice and vegetable salat and mantu, which is like the most delicious thing on the planet. It's like a dumpling kind of thing, pasta dumpling with meat and vegetables inside of it. Kind of like a wonton, but with a totally different flavor. Definitely you want to eat a healthy, balanced meal during Ramadan. Ramadan is kind of like a reset for your body, so you want to be giving it as good a food as you possibly can. A lot of Muslims use this time to get their lives back on track and to cut out things that they don't want and to start introducing things that they have wanted to introduce for a while, like healthy eating, cutting out things like coffee and drink and smoking. You know, it just all kind of plays into that. As far as meals, there's nothing really specific except for dates and water. Number 5, how does my husband make it through the day when he has to go to work? I am lucky to have this time off from school. Ramadan actually ends 2 days before I start going back to university, so I got really fortunate this year, not so fortunate last year. So how does my husband make it through the day? He has to wake up early and go to work all day long and then still somehow think and do work and be productive. So during Ramadan in Muslim countries, specifically in Afghanistan, the one I know most about, during Ramadan the days are shortened. So people generally go to work much earlier. They go to work in the mornings, probably right after suhoor meal, around 5:30, and they get off around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So that way they have time to go home and relax on the hottest part of the day and not be outside and not be doing work. For my husband, it's a little bit different. He has started to go to work just a little bit later. Usually we would wake up about 7 o'clock and he would leave the house at about 8 to 8:15 and get to work at 8:30. And now he's waking up, you know, right before he has to go to work, like 8 o'clock, 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock if we have stayed up really late. Just the habit of Ramadan is to sleep really late and then stay up really late. That's kind of the best way to do it. I mean, that's what we do on weekends, so we can enjoy more of the day and more of the eating day. He still goes to work, and then he comes home around lunchtime for what's called wuzu, which is basically, it sounds really funny, but basically it's washing yourself. You know, before you pray, the 5 times a day that you're supposed to pray, before you do that, you're supposed to take a wuzu, which is basically a really specific kind of wash in the shower. You have to do it a certain way to become clean enough to do your prayer. I can say that he has had a lot more practice at Ramadan than I have. He's had probably 20 years of his life where he's been doing this every year. It's kind of just like a second nature. It's just kind of what everyone does. Alright, so thanks so much for your questions. I'd love to do another one of these videos. If you guys had any more questions, just leave them in the comments or leave them in Keeks or tweet them or something like that. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Here's my Keek mashup, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye! Noms. This is jacama rice, Mexican style. It is delicious. I just had iftar, and I had this, and then I had a can of tuna. And then for dessert, I had one of these little things. It's like a tiny little cake, a tiny little cup, and it was chocolate. So that was my dessert. And yeah, really good. Probably gonna eat a little bit more later. Hope you had a good day. Bye.
Sepi hanya keluarga yang menemani, tapi sekarang tidak lagi.